Hey everyone, Ian here, artist and game designer working on Crimson Keep, and I just wanted to show you guys, or give you guys another update on what we've been doing for the last several weeks. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is pathfinding and Navmesh generation. So Unity has like a built-in Navmesh system, which it basically figures out, based on angles of terrain and stuff, where enemies can walk, and then enemies are able to navigate around obstacles and stuff. But that didn't really work for our game because their implementation of it is it has to be baked, which means it can't be generated at runtime yet. And we had issues looking into like baking all the chunks out and then stitching them together. So Ben implemented a plugin and then did additional work with it and got it working so that there's a Navmesh generated at runtime when you load each area. So like the whole caves area, like the next area, it'll randomly place the chunks and connect them, and then it'll figure out the Navmesh, and then the enemies know where they can walk and where they can't. So for the first time, enemies will walk around lava and stuff, which is cool. But we can show off just them chasing us and strange obstacles. Here, this little obstacle course I made. When they get close enough, they'll start to charge, and then they're not using the Navmesh. They're just going straight towards the player. But until they start charging, they'll use the Navmesh to figure out the obstacles. The next cool feature that I think is pretty important is a lot of people were talking about like dying unexpectedly or not getting enough feedback when they're about to die. So now, when you hit 0 life, instead of instantly dying, you get a couple moments of invulnerability. That blood splashes up on the screen, kind of like Call of Duty or something. And you get this red vignette for as long as you're under 5% health. And there's also like a heartbeat sound. So when you get into this danger zone, as I called it, you have your last kind of chance to heal or do something if you're gonna survive. So there's always issues with Navmesh stuff a little bit, and a lot of that is stuff on my end. I just have to make areas that have big enough spaces for all the enemies that are going to be in it. These enemies aren't normally in this room. This is just for testing, so that's why. Another thing I want to show off is the perk system, which Ben recently got implemented here. So every time you level up, you either pick an ability, which is like an activated, spell ability type thing, or you pick a passive upgrade that changes your stats or augments other abilities. I'm calling these perks. So these are all perks. So there's going to be like 10 levels in total to gain, and so every level you'll either pick an ability or a perk, and most of them are going to be randomized. Kind of like we're going to make all the perks and then they're kind of shuffled when you get them, similar to like Nuclear Throne. Now at the end of each level you pick a perk out of a selection of a couple or 3, and yeah, there will be when you hit level 5 or 6, when you're halfway to max level, there will be a set couple of perks that you can choose from, and that'll be your subclass. So here's some weapons. We're up to 35, I believe, weapon models for the player now. And these ones that have weird hands attached to them, those are two-handed. I just put the hand on the weapon, and then I turn off the left hand in the first-person view. Well, yeah. So that's what we've been doing. We've got a lot of rebalancing to do. We're working on adding more perks and getting those all set up. Working with pathfinding issues and Navmesh generation issues in other areas of the game. But it's going pretty well. These guys are pretty fun to kill. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.